So let's briefly start by looking back at last week before we move on to this week's FA Trophy. The game against Aldershot, in hindsight, obviously a great result in the end. What did you make of it?
Yeah, tricky opening 20 minutes. They started really well. We started quite poorly, and it's become a bit of a trend that. However, the lads' characters shone through, and they came through that spell and won the game convincingly in the end.
Is Warren Burrell still dining out on the hat-trick?
Yeah, I think he is actually. Yeah, I think they had a cracking weekend actually in Dublin. But what a high for him to go out there. Having enjoyed scoring as a centre-back 3 goals in one game, it's some achievement.
You mentioned about Dublin as well, obviously their Christmas do. You told us about that after last week's match. I'm guessing they all came back in one piece and had behaved then.
Yeah, they have. They really did enjoy themselves. They're a tight-knit group, and I think it's good. I think it's pretty old school, that they go away together, and photos were, there's a lot of evidence to suggest they had a great time. I'm proud of them. I think it's good when they can enjoy themselves together as a group.
And team bonding obviously never stops, does it? I know you talk about a lot of it pre-season, but certainly as the year goes on, 1 or 2 new faces come in as well.
Well, that's right. I mean, we haven't signed many, have we? Into the group. There's only really Michael Woods come in. There's been a couple go out on loan, but I think it's easy for players to come into our group and actually just, it's pretty seamless. Just join in with the rest of the group. They're easygoing fellas. So that's we've got a good culture going, and hopefully the mindset is a winning one as well. So it's a good place to be at the minute, but we can't go slack on it, and neither can that group in there. They take that spirit from off the pitch onto it and make sure that we carry on the momentum.
So on to the FA Trophy. Where does that fit in with your plans this year?
Well, we just talked about momentum, and you don't want to slow that up at all. So we've got to try and win each game we play, and the FA Trophy, if we can do really well in that, it all builds that interest in the club up locally, and you want winning to be a habit.
You did well last year getting to the quarter-finals. All right, maybe not quite far enough for you, but you've almost had that taste, haven't you, of what a good run in the trophy can do for you. I guess you want more.
Yeah, definitely. We've started the season well. We're nearly at Christmas. We're in a great position, but you always want more, and you always want to improve upon the performances. We've worked on training this morning on defensive side and seeing danger that bit quicker, and making sure we defend our goal, with real intensity. We've got to take that into Saturday's performance. We know that York have got some good players in there. We've watched a lot of the coverage this week, and we have to make sure we defend well against their threats. And it's going to be a local derby. There's going to be the emotion that brings in, with the supporters, and both sets of fans will have friends in the opposite camp, and we want our fans to go home happy again.
You've probably seen and heard a little bit of the fallout after last week's York City match, so do you feel you've maybe got a side with something to prove coming to the C&G this week as well?
Yeah, without doubt. I think Sam Collins knows what he's doing. He's been in football a long time, and he was obviously hurt, and there's obviously an element of that is wanting a reaction from his players, and the players wanting his players to see how much he's hurt by that. But we've got to make sure that just because there was frustration from his side, that their reaction doesn't overpower us in terms of the passion that they show. We've got to make sure that we set our stall out right from the start, and we want to keep performing well in front of our own fans, and there'll be a lot of pride at stake, I'm sure, from both sets of players.
He's also said, Sam Collins, that he knows Paul Thirlwell, your assistant, quite well. Has there been much contact this week between them, do you know?
Not that I know of, but they're both good football people, and they know each other from previous, and it'll be friendly off the pitch, between myself and Sam, and also Thurs and Sam. We'll have a drink after, but we definitely want to be in the winning camp as much as Sam does.
So let's look at your team for this weekend. Firstly, everyone fit?
We just have finished training now, and George Thompson had to go in early to have treatment. So the extent of that, I've come straight here to speak to you, so we'll have to confirm later on that one.
And what was it? Do you know that it was a bit of an issue?
He felt his glute and his hamstring, so hopefully he's just left training early as a precaution. But he's an important player for us, and hopefully we'll have him fit.
And selection-wise, how are you approaching things with it being the trophy? Are you looking for consistency? Are you looking to give one or two different faces a bit of a run?
Well, if George misses out, we've got 16 players, so we can't rotate the whole thing. But we'll come to a decision tomorrow. But whoever we play, first team players, and first team starters, so it'll be a strong lineup as we're looking to do really well.